a tough topic, I think, for many people, but working mothers, of course, is a tough topic right now. I think, with the pandemic, it's really affected a lot of us, and so we're going to go through some what the pandemic has really done to working mothers and things that you and employers can do to help working mothers, but really not just working mothers or working parents who are having to help take care of their children who right now are in and out of school. So as a disclaimer, I'm not an attorney. I don't provide legal advice. This is based on my knowledge, my research, and experience. All right, so 2020, of course, has been crazy. More now than ever, we are struggling to do our jobs. We feel like we're always on. I don't know about you all, but I feel like my workday does not stop ever. I'm constantly booked. I'm constantly scheduled, more now than I think I ever have been, which is great that I'm very busy, but also it's difficult to have that work-life balance, right? Not only that, but we're worried about our family's health. We're worried about our finances. We're worried about, the stability of our economy. And we're burned out, right? Especially if you're in the healthcare industry, or if you work with people in the healthcare industry, you can see that they are burnt out. Women in particular have been negatively impacted by the pandemic. Women are more likely to have been laid off or furloughed. I'm sorry if you hear my puppy. I cannot here we go, another balancing act, right? I'm not in an office, so you hear my puppy growling. So, we are furloughed more than our male counterparts. 4 times as many women have dropped out of the labor force. In September of last year, there were roughly 865,000 women who dropped out of the workforce. That's compared to 216,000 men. Many women have had to quit or scale back their hours. People that don't have that option, such as single mothers, worry about their job performance. Experts worry that the pandemic is destroying strides that women have made in the workforce and will just, put equity further out of reach. Here are some, numbers. I'm not going to go into all of them, but essentially, there's rising responsibilities at home. There's the cost of childcare. I have a client with an employee who has 3 young children. She has to balance working from home and taking care of her children. She, told me, if I can make enough money to pay for my one child to go to daycare, then I can keep working. Imagine that. She's working right now to pay for her childcare. That's it. Because she needs to keep her job so that when this passes, she'll have a job to go back to. This is an emergency for corporate America. We're at risk of losing women in leadership. We're at risk of unwinding years and years of progress towards gender diversity. If mothers leave the labor force, that is $64.5 billion per year in lost wages and economic activity. And so that it will hurt our economy. So what can we do? There are solutions. There's no easy solution. Short term, we saw immediate relief through the CARES Act. We saw relief through the FFCRA and the emergency FMLA. Those are very short-term solutions, right? And as of right now, those are no longer mandatory for employers to provide. So right now, there's nothing, right? unless an employer decides they're going to continue offering that. Some long-term policy solutions are accessible and affordable childcare for all Americans, paid sick and medical leave for all Americans, fair scheduling. This means, regular schedules that are not sporadic, that work with parents that have children at home, and equal pay laws. Of course, there are certain states that have paid sick and medical leave. They have equal pay laws. Georgia does have an equal pay for equal work law, but it's not very robust. So, making these more substantial so that we're actually seeing a direct impact in our workers, in our workforce. So what can you do as an employer? How can you help men and women who are working from home while also caring for their children? Communicate openly and frequently with employees. Listen to what they need and accommodate as much as you can. Remind employees of mental health benefits or bolster up your benefits. So talk to Hal about getting some benefit plans in place for your employees. Encourage workers to take vacation or paid time off. That's important. Having time off is important. And oftentimes we don't take time off because we feel like we have so much and that we're already working from home, we're already taking this time, but we actually need the time away from work. Understand and promote the FFCRA and changes that are coming out. So we're anticipating there's going to be some expansion of this soon. And so keep an eye on that. In fact, if there are changes, I'll sign up to come back on and talk about those changes. Set standards for work-life balance. Make sure your employees know we end work at this time. You be with your family, take your own time after this time of day. Develop a remote work policy and set expectations and guidelines. Allow flexible working hours. Prioritize projects that are most important so that your workers know where they need to focus. Explore paying for or subsidizing virtual or in-person tutoring services or babysitting. And you could talk to Lisa Martin about that. She's on the line here too. Consider introducing job sharing or part-time work for positions where those options don't typically exist. Reduce the number of meetings and carefully choose those participants. So understand, does this person really need to be on this hour-long meeting when I know that they're home with their children? Or can I just send them a summary of it? Or maybe give them the choice, right? Give them the choice. And don't make them feel bad if they can't attend. Record meetings or have someone take notes for those who can't attend and then send them the recording. We all know we have that capability now. So there's a lot of options while we're waiting for our government to make these changes. There's a lot of options that we as employers can focus on to help our employees. And that's all for me. I hope I didn't take too much time. I guess we can open it up for conversation or questions or ideas that you guys have or have seen. Or just vent about your struggles working from home with your children. This can be a mental health session as well.
Oh my God, she opened the doors and this could go downhill really, really fast.
So Angie, before it goes down too far, the thing that Kelsey did really good was talk about employees and coworkers, and arguably, if many of us are small business people, that we are working with vendors and partners. Mm-hmm. So what is it that you're looking for? What is it that's getting in your way to be productive?
He's giving you a specific.
Who, me in general? Me in specific or people in general?
I'm asking for anybody on the call where Kelsey threw out a lot of ideas. Yeah. How to make it work. And Linda's nodding her head. So what is it that that we need, and maybe JD hears some of this stuff with his surveying, what is it that people are looking for? Not all at once. Go ahead, Jade. Somebody else?
Sorry. I just know that our employees do struggle, and we try to be as supportive as we can. But then on the other hand, then I struggle as a business owner, because I need to be, especially with remote working, I need to have assurances that the jobs still get done and they get done well and our clients are taken care of. So I just know that there's no easy answer.
Okay. JD?
We put a post out a while ago that especially for people that work in organizations that are very lucky to know that the organization is very strong, or very, they're not going to go away. So the company kind of just gives the, hey, everything's okay, just do your job and everything's going to be all right. There's not enough communication from the employer or from the organization it's almost hey, you're working from home, so I'm just going to tell you it's okay. Don't worry about it. And there needs to be a lot more communication. There needs to be a lot more frequent feedback. There needs to be a lot more openness to have a discussion with people, not to give them the, don't worry about it, your job's okay, but to be present with them so that they feel that their job is okay. And then they're not just being given some lip service.
Yeah, it's that gray area. When you want to do a good job, but what does that mean? What is me doing a good job? If you don't have numbers, or your job may be not measured in such a way. I kept thinking of Lisa Martin and her business, and Lisa, you speak to it way more than I can. But just for companies to offer that backup plan has got to be, like LGE. We need our branch staff in the branch. So something happens, or a time like this where we've had so many out with the CARES Act, and then the kids go virtual, and the next week you lose a whole nother, crew of people who can't come in because their children are at home. What is that? What is a backup plan that allows for everybody to be successful?
It's also been a very emotional time. I mean, the ups and downs just daily, and Kelsey, you hit on it. I mean, we're always at work. It's like there's no segmenting of your day or whatever. I find that, it used to be you go into the office, you talk to clients, you go to a meeting, you have lunch. Now it's just one long day, and that's tough on people.
So what is it?
It is, and I almost feel more guilty now, that mother guilt now than before, when I was out of the house all day and they were at school. I almost feel it more now because they're home more often. So I'm here, and then oftentimes I'll have one sitting, right next to me, trying to get my attention or trying to get me to play a game. And I'm like, I gotta work. And then, my husband gets home and he's like, oh, what'd you guys do? Oh, nothing. Mom worked all day. We were on the television all day. And I'm like, oh, great. Thanks. Yes, they were.
So as much,
That's okay.
Kelsey, you shared some really good statistics, and Jared and others have confirmed that this is real and it's a mental health issue as much as it is a work-life balance, family, dog issue. What are people doing? What do you need, or what have you done that's helping? Lisa, go ahead.
I was going to say, I work with over 1,000 families because we partner with Wellstar and Emory Healthcare, just two of, and so of course the people that work at both those places have to actually go into work. So they're, and then some of the Wellstar actually has their nurse case managers work from home. So we go into the house with some, and I talk to these families constantly about the care of their children and also about the culture of their companies. So one thing, if you're a man and you have women employees, is to say, how are you dealing with the kids? Is it going okay? What can I do to help? Is because men have to take part in this. If they don't, women feel like they can't say anything. So
I'm a guy. What is it that what are the answers that you are looking for, or what are the suggestions that are going to make it work?
Okay, so for instance, you, like I said, just to say, I know that you have small children. If you have an employee with small children, I don't anymore, but I remember, I took on this role as a husband so my wife could further her career. Saying, having those, people are always so worried about having personal conversations, but if you don't have a culture with personal conversations, and don't have this conversation with your worst employee, okay? Have it with your best employees so you can kind of set the standards of seeing somebody that truly is making it work with their family and doing great results. Okay, with the employee that's having trouble, you're going to have to kind of dig a little bit deeper and start first with what they're doing right on their job, right? And build them up. And then from building them up, the next step is saying, I have some concerns here, and I know you're having to balance a lot. What do you think you need? And do the conversation that way, because there's no right way with every family. There's no right way with every employee.
So
That
Lisa,
is the key.
Lisa, your point is to create the conversation. I look at JD's part about feedback, and the whole idea there is create the channel for the feedback. So Lisa, you're saying you want to know that people are starting the conversation. The answers may be unique, but start the conversation. So who else has got some feedback about what's needed to, Kelsey points out the problem. What is it you need?
So I think all of us as individuals and as business people need to be supportive of mothers when they have a small kid in the room and they can't help it. So I know a few times I've had in prospecting calls and in sales calls that I've done over Zoom, I'll be working with somebody and they've got a kid in the room and I'm like, it's fine. I understand. Don't worry about it. Even if the kid's making a lot of noise and stuff. I mean, it's just, you understand that's where they are. And so you try to be empathetic with their position. So I think that's what we can do as individuals to be supportive.
Just no puppies, Kelsey.
Yeah.
No puppies. Kids, okay. Puppies, no.
Don't even bring up
I think
cats.
that
I'm getting cat attacked as we speak, for those of y'all who've noticed. So please don't bring it up.
I think you're absolutely right on that. Saying, oh, that's totally fine. I understand. We're all kind of experiencing this right now. And I think that goes a long way because I know, towards the beginning of this, when my kids were home more frequently, it was stressful when I would have to get on a client call and I knew my kids were back there and that at any minute, one of them could let out a scream and there was nothing I could do about it. And worrying that that client would hear it and say, oh, she's not professional, or oh, she's not prepared for this, or, and so knowing that, my clients are like, we understand, or my employees, I understand you need that flexibility. You need to be able to go to and from. It makes things much easier.
Is there a disclosure or a disclaimer or a sentence to something that would come across as empathetic, where if we start a call says, hey, I know you're working from home, so if you get interrupted, no problem. Is there something, or is that a policy, or is that a screen?
I think that just what you said, but we have to do it individually. I mean, everyone kind of has to do it. I don't think you can set a policy to say, hey, you need to say this. I think we all just need to, as humans, know that we are going through this and to have grace for each other and understand that, our personal lives are seeping into our business lives, our professional lives, and that's okay. And it might actually be a good thing because we've been able to relate more to each other and make, stronger relationships this way, where maybe I wouldn't know, Angie, that your cat attacked you, or I wouldn't know that you had such a cute cat, or you know what I mean? We wouldn't know these things. And so I think it's sort of beautiful, that we're able to do this, and also, heartbreaking to know all the struggles that we've all gone through. So
Yeah, it's nice part of it that I have enjoyed is getting bits and pieces of people's personal lives and getting to see you through my cat as he gets in front of my screen. And I think one of the hardest times though, as a sole proprietor, if you don't have like, I hear it from the people who work for me virtual, and I try to be empathetic to them. I try to be empathetic to clients. I'm trying to be empathetic to the vendors as I'm trying to get things done. And a lot of people don't understand they're getting a paid check. And if they have a bad day, everybody's like, I'm so sorry you had a bad day. Whereas a sole proprietor, who steps up and says, well, I'm so sorry you didn't get paid? You know, so a lot of us as business owners, you know, it's like, can we please set this up where I can have your full attention and we can make a choice and get something handled? And being effective, I can understand being empathetic. I probably lean a little too far on the empathy scale. And as y'all noticed, I got up and checked on something because I had a kitty sneezing. But I think as a just as a sole proprietor is being effective, and each one of us, I don't know, I handle a part of people's lives of their finances. And when I handle somebody's finances, you know, that's very, very important to me and very important to them.
Right.
And if I need you to do something so that I can affect somebody else's money, I need you to do it. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm in the middle there. And Lisa, I hear you with all the I mean, oh my God, with people's health and well-being, you know, it's like, you know, I know that, you know, you're having a meltdown, but we've got to affect this transaction so I can take care of a client. And so sometimes just being in the middle has pulled me a little too far.
Anybody else before we wrap up? Anybody else got one more comment about how to?
I quickly just wanted to, you know, like in everything, communication is the key. And so our employees you know, we communicate, we're on Slack, we say, hey, I have the kids, can't answer the phones today, but I will set certain times when I can take client meetings. And so that, you know, of course,
That's
has
important.
helped us through the day.
So we're back to.
That's so important. I mean, just saying like, okay, I understand your kids are home. Let's set some times, like what times will work, you know, let's have an open dialogue about this because I want you to be successful. I know you want to be successful. I know that we can do this, right? So I definitely think that communication is very important. Just them being heard and knowing that they have a supportive, you know, a supportive manager, a supportive company.
All right, we're going to wrap up. I think there's the communication you just said, Kelsey, about being supportive. It's both ways, and some people are a little more reluctant to ask for something. So as leaders, we should be in a position to lead by asking what and how they can help. So in wrapping up, always try to have a little bit of humor. And we couldn't miss the Blake, I mean the Bernie part. And do want to call out, you can see for the next couple of weeks, we got some really good programs coming up. Center of Influence Marketing, we've talked about trust. And what can you learn from craft beer in 2 weeks? And then a couple good strategy conversations with different people. So please pass the word, invite your friends, and let's keep sharing, because clearly the communication that we've got amongst ourselves is the big difference. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much.
Good job, Kelsey. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Great job.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Have a good day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.